This happened last fall. I was coming back from a consulting job up near the Canadian border, a small manufacturing plant that wanted someone to audit their logistics. Boring work, decent money, and a 7-hour drive back to my apartment outside of Albany. I've done that drive 100 times. I knew the rest stops, the cheap gas stations, the stretches of highway where your phone loses signal for 20 minutes at a time. What I didn't know was that I'd be making an unplanned stop that night. It was around 11 p.m. when my dashboard lit up with a low tire pressure warning. Not a blowout, not a flat, just a slow leak. Enough that I knew I shouldn't ignore it. I was somewhere in the Adirondack region, which meant dense forest on both sides of the highway, no streetlights, and the kind of darkness that feels thick enough to press against your windshield. I took the next exit, which was less an exit and more a gravel ramp that curved into a 2-lane county road. My GPS showed a gas station about 4 miles ahead. What it didn't show was the motel. The gas station was closed. Pump still worked, card reader flickering, but the convenience store was dark and the air compressor was padlocked. I sat there for a minute, trying to decide if I could make it another 60 miles to the next town. That's when I saw the glow. A small sign, partially blocked by overgrown pines, that read, Pine Haven Motel, in faded green letters. The H was burned out. I figured I could at least pull into the lot, check the tire with my own gauge, and decide from there. The motel was shaped like a horseshoe, 12 rooms total, all ground level with doors facing a cracked asphalt lot. Only 2 lights worked in the entire parking lot, one above the office door, buzzing and flickering, and one at the far end, near room 12, which cast a weak yellowish cone that barely reached 10 feet. There were 3 cars in the lot, a rusted sedan parked directly in front of the office, a pickup truck with a camper shell near the middle, and a dark SUV at the far end that I couldn't make a model of because it was too shadowed. I got out and checked my tire. Pressure was down but not critical. I could probably make it home if I babied it. But I was tired. Not the normal kind of tired. The kind where your vision starts to lag behind your head movements. I'd been driving for 6 hours already. So I made the call. I'd grab a room, sleep for a few hours, and leave at first light. The office was small. A counter, a bell, a rack of tourist brochures so old the paper had yellowed. Behind the counter sat a man. I'd guess he was in his late 60s. Thin gray hair combed over, wireframe glasses, a flannel shirt that looked like it had been washed too many times. He didn't get up when I walked in, just looked at me over the top of his glasses and said, "Need a room?" I said yes. He quoted me $40, cash. No card machine, apparently. I handed him 2 20s and he slid a key across the counter. An actual metal key with a plastic diamond-shaped tag. Room 9. He told me checkout was 10 a.m. sharp, no exceptions. Then he went back to reading his newspaper. No smile, no enjoy your stay. He just sort of waved me off, like I was wasting his time. Room 9 was 4 doors from the office. The carpet was a depressing brown, and the whole place reeked of old cigarette smoke and mildew. The bed had one of those super thin floral spreads that immediately makes you want to check for bed bugs. The bathroom was just a standard setup with a toilet, sink, and a shower with a curtain that was pretty gross with mold on the bottom. I brushed my teeth, threw the lock and the chain on the door, and then, because I listened to way too many true crime podcasts, I wedged the desk chair right under the handle. I killed the light and crashed, still fully dressed. About half an hour later, I woke up to a nasty screech, as if someone was dragging their fingernails across the window glass. I grabbed the lamp at my bedside, got up, pulled the curtain back an inch, and nearly pissed my pants. A guy was standing there, with his face practically glued to the glass. His breath was fogging it up. He was super pale, and his dark eyes were leering down at me. Before I could blink, he smacked his palms flat against the window and grinned. I clutched the lamp tighter. My heart started hammering in my chest as he raised one hand and waved. Then he gestured like he was heading for the front door and disappeared into the dark. 15 seconds later, loud knocks rattled the door frame. My blood ran cold. He started talking, telling me to open up. When I didn't move, he started pounding on the door, yelling that if I made him break in, he was going to get bloody ugly, and he'd rather keep things clean. I tried to play it cool and told him to get lost. He started spiraling about how I was hiding his pills, causing him pain, and that I was the reason his demons were asking him to kill somebody. His voice was getting all high-pitched and shaky as he literally started slamming his head against the door, yelling at me to open up. With each slam, the door frame shuddered and the desk chair moved. On one of the hits, the door actually bent inward so much I thought he'd get in. I shrieked and told him I had called the cops and they were on their way. He went still, waiting outside in tense quiet until the distant sound of a siren echoed through the night. It might have been miles off on the highway, but he heard it and backed off. I heard the footsteps retreat before chilling silence fell. I stayed put against the wall, holding the lamp until morning. I hurriedly packed my bag and sprinted straight to my car. The tire was completely flat. The valve stem had been removed and was sitting there on the pavement next to the wheel. I threw on the spare and got out of there without looking back. I tried filing a report, but they told me there wasn't any Pine Haven motel on that route and that I might have hallucinated the whole thing because of my exhaustion. I've looked it up on maps countless times. The exit shows up on satellite view, but the ramp goes into a dirt road that stops dead in the middle of the woods. I don't usually talk about this whole thing, but now, whenever I'm on a long drive, I constantly check the rear view, expecting him to track me down because his demons have been asking him to.